Sure shot, baby! So, good day everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have the open spiker of the Ateneo Lady Eagles, and she also played recently with the national team for Ribisco in the tournament in Thailand. And I'll now welcome here to the DVD show, Faith Nisperos. Thank you for joining me here on my podcast.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Ren, for the invite.
Yeah, so to start things off, gusto ko lang tanungin kung kamusta ka na right after yung tournament, nagpahinga ka naman siguro, and paano mo sinespend ngayon yung time mo na yun, nag-improve na rin yung cases with COVID, so lumuluwag na ng konti pero nasa bahay pa din tayo most of the time. So kamusta ka naman?
So, generally, I'm okay. Uh, yung time ng quarantine namin, yun yung ginamit ko for rest, yung pahinga. Then, paglabas is inorganize ko na din yung magiging training program ko. And tuloy-tuloy naman when it comes to strength and conditioning. And also kasama ko naman teammates ko sa Ateneo through online training. So tuloy-tuloy din. And school, yun din. A lot to catch up on kasi nga because of we were in Thailand, so parang focus muna ako sa laro rather than school. So yun. Generally, I'm
So,
okay. Ano naman, tuloy-tuloy lang.
you mentioned ka na may training program ka. So ano naman yung ginagawa mo dun with your training program? Kasi syempre, kahit ano, magaling ka na nga sa Ateneo nung PVL and UAAP nung 2 games, tas na national team ka na. Syempre, still wanna improve on your game. So ano yung mga aspects na talagang pinagpo-focus ka, lalo na ngayon?
Okay, so I'm focusing on strength and conditioning, and yung program is designed like, and ano siya, yung timeline is of course related din kung kailan kami magkakaroon supposedly ng competition, which is the UAAP, diba?
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, strength and conditioning kasi yun yung mahirap i-maintain, especially right now na we can't train kasi sa court. Ibang-iba kasi talaga if we train on the court kasi. So, yung movements and everything. So, binabawi ko na lang dun sa strength and conditioning ko.
so you mentioned nga na you focus a lot on that aspect of your gaming, strength and conditioning. So how would you rate it naman, like entering the season? Like sabi nga nila baka sa Feb magkaroon na ng bubble. I mean, hindi pa nga confirmed as of this recording. Pero ano sa tingin mo naman yung health and conditioning mo? Sapat na ba for you or kailangan kulang pa?
No, kulang pa. As in, I think nasa 5 pa ako. So, like, I don't know, maybe mataas naman standard ko sa sarili ko. So, I think I can do more pa. I could, like, gusto ko pa ma-develop yung, like, technically speaking, like, explosiveness, height of jump, speed, power, all of those na kailangan for the game. Yan, gusto ko i-improve pa.
So, yung Ateneo nga, you mentioned na nag-online training kayo, and si Danny Raven na nga yata yung team captain entering the next season, and madami rin kayong mga recruits na bago na hindi masyadong kilala ng mga tao. So, kamusta naman yung team nyo since matagal na nga since nakikita ng mga tao yung Ateneo Lady Eagles? So, ano mababalita mo with their preparation for the possible season next year?
So, I only see when we're talking about the new ones, I only see them through Zoom, and there's nothing, or there's not a lot kasi na you could teach through online kasi, and talagang we tell them, we push them to like do more, hindi lang, wag magsettle sa online training namin na 2 hours, 3 times a week. Ayan, do not settle for that. Kung kaya nyong like individually, punta kayo sa open space, mag-court or what. Kung kaya nyo, do it. Like, if you could do extra work, do it. Kasi, or we have to make up for what we lost over the past. Parang yung time kasi sobrang daming nawala eh. So, ayun. And when it comes to gelling naman, yung team chemistry, we try to bond through Zoom then. Pero every weekend, we don't talk about volleyball. We talk about life, like, kamusta kayo? How's school? How's your family? So, that's the small efforts na we do as a team to kahit pa paano, we get to know each other before we see each other ulit if magkakaroon na ng bubble.
Mm. You mentioned nga yung team nyo na sinusubukan ng iba't ibang paraan para maging close kahit hindi nagkikita face-to-face. And kahit naman hindi sport, kahit sa trabaho or sa mga org sa college, nahihirapan din talaga lahat. Pero ikaw, as one of the emerging as one of the top players na in your team, meron ka bang, parang nag-emerge ka na rin ba as one of the leaders and you are being a vocal leader na rin and having the initiative to implement these new things on your team for them to be close?
Okay, so me and Ate Vani Gandler were named as co-captains of Ate Dani Ravenna. So
Okay.
kami yung nag-uusap on activities on what to do. We brainstorm sometimes. Like every weekend, do we do this? What do we do? In topic, ganyan. Then uh, during online trainings naman, we always remind them kahit paisa-isa yung ibang trainings namin na yun nga, we always remind them na UAAP is just around the corner. And ako din, I take initiatives din na to remind some of my like batchmates or the younger ones. Ayan, kinakamusta ko din sila minsan just to get to know them din. So, yeah, those are the small things I try to do. Ayan.
Mm. Oo. So you mentioned nga na yun, nagiging role model ka na rin and leader for your team kasi necessary na rin yun as a co-captain. Pero in the national team nga, I'm pretty sure you learned a lot because you were with veteran players from Choco Mucho, even if you were playing in the Ribisco squad kasi syempre nagsama rin kayo in training and in the Thailand somehow. So moving on to that stint, actually the games, there were tryouts and there were this whole pandemic na talagang naudlot yung parang progress niyo as athletes. Pero before the tryouts naman, gaano kahirap din naman for you na mag-train nung buong pandemic? Like, that was almost a year bago kayo nag-tryout sa, I forgot kung anong area yun, basta sa out of town pa yata yun for this tournament here in Thailand. So, kamusta yung progress mo naman as a volleyball player throughout that span?
Okay, so before tryouts kasi, medyo nahirapan din ako mag-train kasi ang daming restrictions. Like,
Mm-hmm.
on-off kasi yung ECQ, di ba? So,
Yes.
ang hirap kasi the time na medyo naging okay na, nagiging less yung restrictions. So I could do more na. I could like jog outside. I could go to the gym, lift weights. Then biglang bawal. So parang ako din, ang hirap maging consistent. Kasi nga, I don't really have the tools here at home. So, it's been hard. Like, ano lang talaga. Minsan, tiyagaan na lang talaga. Resourcefulness na lang, di ba? You have to settle for what we have. And when I got the invitation naman for tryouts for the national team, what I did was I really tried looking for like kahit manghiram na lang ako for my other friends, teammates na like can you just borrow this, that para lang ma-prepare ako ng like I wasn't really 100% ready pero para at least mapakita ako during the tryouts. And throughout that span, I was very grateful and blessed na yun nga, I've been accepted into the team. And going into training with the girls naman. It was hard at first kasi onti lang kami. We were only 9. The veterans were still in BL or their own other teams. Tapos kaming mga puro college students. Kami yung naging available. Like, tawag na lang coaches sa amin, the babies. So, ayun, it was hard. Pero nakita talaga namin for the first 2 weeks. talagang puro basic lang ginagawa namin. Para kami bumalik ng elementary na training na puro ball handling lang just to get the feel of the court, the ball, tapos the feeling of having someone beside you. Kasi almost 2 years, walang katabi, na, puro ball lang, nakakalaro mo, di ba? Self lang training lagi. So, it was really hard to adjust to a situation na, for me, it wasn't normal, yung ganon.
Yeah.
For the longest time of me playing, for the past 11 years, I've been playing for 11 years kasi. Ito yung pinakamahabang bakasyon ko. So, grabe, like, sabi ko nga, like, kung dati, hingi ako lang hingi ng bakasyon. Ngayon, hingi ako lang hingi ng laro. Kasi, grabe, like, sobrang daming nawala because of 2 years. So, yeah, it's really hard to adjust to it.
So, sinabi mo nga na madami kang pinagdaanan na hardships and difficulties. And lahat naman, kahit hindi athletes nung buong pandemic. Pero, nitong buong pandemic, syempre meron ka ba mga pinagdaanan na parang crossroads or yun talagang mga mental struggles maybe when you were unmotivated to train or play, unmotivated to train or like jog or like just in general practice, or maybe ayun nga, nalungkot ka kasi wala ka ng kasama like dun sa training normally na may team practices kayo. Meron ka bang mga pinagdaanan tsaka paano mo nalampasan yun?
Okay, so only a few knows this na I think I'm ready to talk about it naman din. During the first, let's say, first quarter or first half the year of pandemic, I was really sad about what happened kasi I've been preparing like all my life kasi pinangarap ko maglaro for UAAP collegiate. Like, iba kasi yung level sa college and biglang naudlot. Like, I was there na, this biglang, this thing happens. So, ang hirap na, hindi ko matanggap na ganito yung nangyari. Hindi, parang I was so frustrated kasi I was ready, physically I was ready, mentally ready na ako. Like, na mindset ko na pagdating ng UAAP, talagang lalaban talaga, di ba? Biglang ganon. So, yeah, ang hirap kasi, ang hirap kasi yung, you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
All you could do is think about it and you just wala kang magawa. So, it's really frustrating on my side kasi ako, if may naisip ako, I will do something about it. Ganun ako eh. Like, I think that's one of the my traits. Kaya din, parang ganito ako. And it's so frustrating kasi wala akong magawa about the situation. And I was very happy, despite of what happened, na frustrations, I was still grateful kasi I got to spend time with my family. Kasi sila yung nakasama ko in the pandemic, of course. Wala naman ako inong uwian, hindi sila. And syempre, for the past 6 years na I was in high school kasi naka-dorm lang ako. And my younger sister was with me kasi she's also a volleyball player. And then sumunod yung brother ko. Then sumunod mother ko na she started working here in Manila. So nahiwalay kami sa dad ko. And I think the silver lining for me, family-wise, is nakasama ko sila. Like, na-kompleto kami. We get to, kahit pandemic, we could go to like 4 places na kami lang, nakapag-hiking kami, kahit pa paano. So, yan. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only athlete who felt that during that time talaga na biglang nag-cancel UAP. And yeah, like for sure, kahit ako, I know na I'm a very strong-willed person talaga, pero hindi talaga mawawala yung downside talaga of the pandemic. It really affected me, like mentally. So Yun.
Yung pandemic nga, parang mahilig kasi ako makinig ng mga podcasts and sports shows. And lahat ng athletes, yun nga yung silver lining that they get to spend time with their families. Kasi majority nasa dorm or pag sa ibang bansa, nasa home and away games sila during the season. So bihira nila makasama yung pamilya nila. Pero yun nga yung silver lining kahit malungkot ng nitong pandemic. Pero for you, maganda rin yun yung mindset mo nga na interested ako tanungin sa'yo, yung mindset ka na when something's not right or when you feel something's not right, you do something about it. And syempre, yung pandemic, kahit sino naman tao sa buong mundo, walang magagawa miraculously na masasolve yung problema. Pero ikaw, like yung mga small problems mo, na ikaw have the initiative to try to solve it or na-challenge ka para ma-solve yun. So, saan mo nakuha yung ganong mindset?
Maybe I think for me kasi during my high school years kasi may high school coach, so si Coach Babes, Coach Raymond Babes Castillo.
Yeah.
So he was my high school coach, and he was the one who really not only physically trained us with the skills of volleyball, but also mentally. He taught us how to be mentally tough, how to be resilient, especially in times of maybe like in times of like very pressured times, problematic times. He taught us how to be calm, like to be objective and rational during those times na nagkakagulo. And I think my 6 years with him, na-train ako na maging ganon, na to learn how to filter out unnecessary things, and then just take in the things that matter, take in the things that you think you could do something about it, things you could situations that you could control, diba? Yun yung bigyan mo ng focus rather than the things na you could do anything about it. So yeah, I think I owe it to Coach Babes kasi mentally he was the one who really trained me, especially teenager years. Those are the foundation, diba? The foundation of a person. So I was very lucky and grateful na I met paths with him, na naturuan niya ako to think in that way.
So, yun nga, maganda rin pag-usapan na yung mga, yun kasi yung NU years mo na talagang nakilala ka na rin sa volleyball world. Pero mag-backtrack muna tayo ng konti kasi sa ibang guests ko rin, tinatanong ko rin yung upbringing nila and paano sila lumaki in their own like town or in their own province. So for you, I think you mentioned in volleyball DNA. Pinanood ko yung episode mo yesterday para ready na sa interview dito na you grew up in Davao. So how was your upbringing naman in childhood there? And was volleyball actually your first love, or did you try other activities like other arts, other theater activities, or other sports when you were a child?
Okay, so my family kasi, we're an athletic family. Like we love to go to fun runs, yung mga marathons. So influence din ng parents ko since both of them are athletic naman. They both like to work out. They actually met in the gym, so that's a lot. So ayun, athletic yung family namin. But when it comes to sports, walang sports sa amin. Like we just like to run, to bike, swim. Kasi yun nga, dad ko is a triathlete din. So
okay.
Parang dahan-dahan kami din, ganun din, sumasama sa kanya every time he trains. And yung upbringing naman is I'm the type na who would stay at home. Mahilig ako sa video games. I love to read books. Mahilig din ako sa anime kasi nga influence din ng ate ko. So, yun. Sports wasn't really an option for me back then kasi I was more of a studious type then. I like to study. Diba? Like, goal ko mag-honor student para bigyan akong PS4. I mean, PS1.
PS2?
PS2, yan.
Yeah.
Like like mga ganun pa. Ganun
Yeah.
yung gray pa na na PlayStation, yung color
Yeah,
gray pa.
PS1 pa yata yun eh. Meron pa
Yeah,
yata ako nun eh.
PS1. Yeah, tapos, yun yung, I don't know, yun yung naging motivation namin dati. Like, we have to like do good in our studies para video games, like Guitar Hero, the guitar control, ganyan. So, we were so into video games talaga kami magkakapatid dati. And then, may lumapit sa akin na PE teacher na, sabi niya sa akin, I was grade 2. Yun, nilapitan niya ako. Like, interested ba daw ako sa sports, like volleyball, gusto ko ba daw i-try. So, ako naman, I'll ask my parents, kasi yun naman default answer eh, di ba, bata. I'll ask my parents po, ganyan. So, I asked my parents and they didn't want me to try muna kasi I was asthmatic. So, I had asthma, like, onting pagod lang din. So, kaya, pag mga fun runs, parang dahan-dahan lang din ako kasi nga, bawal. Kasi nga, bawal, hikayon, ganyan. So, yun. Binalikan ako ng PE teacher ko na yun. I was in grade 4. So, medyo, okay, parang, medyo nagiging okay naman din na ako at that time. And, yun, pinush na ako ng parents ko kasi hindi naman na ako ganun like super bata, hindi kala super bata ng grade 4 eh. So, okay, sabi niya, go, try lang. And, sumali ako. So, I remember yung attire ko noon, like PE attire lang talaga, as in t-shirt, jogging pants, then, rubber shoes, ayan. Then, sumali ako sa training nila, they jog, and bola, ganyan. So, okay, sabi ng PE teacher namin, balik ka tomorrow. Okay, balik ako. And then, yung balik ko, naging weeks, then months, then biglang may announcement on the bulletin board na part daw ng varsity team. So, ako naman, oh, okay. Parang, sige, okay. Like, I have time naman, ganyan. So, sige, tuloy-tuloy na lang. Then, pero it wasn't really easy for me kasi at the time, parang ayoko din. Like, alam ko lang naman mag-try, but kasama na ako sa team. And I was very grateful na andyan parents ko. Like, they encouraged me na tuloy mo lang, andyan ka na, nasimulan mo na. And I remember this conversation with my dad na sabi kasi na, syempre masakit yung volleyball eh. Kaya pa ako at that time, buto-buto, then bola, like so, pulang-pula yung arms ko lagi. Then I would approach my dad kasi he watches my training that time. So, dad, parang, daddy, yung sakit, ayoko na, masakit. Then, sabi niya sa akin, hey, taste mo lang yung sakit, masasanay ka din, mawawala din yan. Okay. Ako naman, the masunurin kid, okay, sige dad. Like, I'm not in my nature talaga to complain. So, syempre, parents ko na nagsabi, sige, okay. Then, come grade 5, nakasali na ako sa line-up. Then, the first 6 ako. Then, bigla ako nagpalaro at that time. Like, I was recruited to play for palarong pamansa nung grade 5 ako. And then, tuloy-tuloy na until grade 6, I got to play again sa palaro. Then, nakita ko ng mga coaches from different universities. And then, yun, napunta na ako sa NU.
You mentioned... You mentioned nga na yung younger years mo, na talagang diligent student ka, na talagang you wanna aim high and get the highest possible grade because you get a reward and you get time also to play video games. And talagang magandang mindset yun na talagang tinitrain pa lang yung mga bata at a young age to be like that. Pero for you, was your parents also an integral part of that, na talagang magfo-focus ka rin sa ACADS mo and also always striving to get a high grade? And in connection to that, did that attitude help you also with your volleyball career, even in grade school, high school, college, lahat?
Now that you mention it, I think it actually helped. Kasi, syempre video games, so there's a competitive side of it, diba? Like, you always want to win, ganyan. And then, yun nga, parents ko, malaking bagay din yung sinabi nila na, okay, if mag-honor student ka, we'll buy you this, Tekken, I'll buy you Tekken, kasi alam kong sa time zone, lagi mo nilalaro yan, so bilhin ko yan for you. So ako naman, okay, sige, go. Parang, I would love that. And if I remember it right, I think I was in grade 3, yung first time ko ma-honor student. So, since then, tuloy-tuloy na. Kasi nga, I keep getting all these gifts from my parents then. And another thing is, my siblings then. Naging competitive kami with each other when it comes to games. Ayan. And my mom kasi is a teacher. My dad is a teacher din dati, before, like in his younger years. So, parang nakakaya na magkaroon ng low grades. For me, parang ayokong may low grades ako. Kasi I think, nga, yung competitive nature ko, nandun na. Like, I wanna be top, ganyan. So, actually, that you mentioned it, I think I just realized it na, no? I think it really helped dati. Like, as a child, ganun yung culture or like, how do you say it? Like, yung mindset namin as sa family.
Yan. Na-realize ko lang na magandang question yung tanongin after nga yung sa episode mo sa Volleyball DNA. Kasi you mentioned nga na ikaw yung student na diligent talaga bata pa lang. Kaya naisip kong tanongin yun. And yeah, you mentioned a lot about your family and then an athlete's career. It's important to have it's important to have a strong support system because there are a lot of big decisions like yun nga, pupunta ka sa pipiliin mo yung school. Like you said, nung palaro, bata ka pa rin. So, kumari, yung support system mo, hindi ganun kaganda. Baka yung napuntahan mong school, hindi yun yung best for you. And even nung pupunta ka Ateneo for college, di ba? Like, may mga pinagdaanan ka for sure na personal stuff na kung mahina yung support system mo, baka nahirapan ka. So, for you, how would you explain to the audience kung gaano ka-important yung tight support system in an athlete's career? Even, hindi ka pa naman pro, like, in terms of like grade school till college.
Okay, so I was very lucky. I'm very lucky talaga na with my parents na they keep an open mind, they let me speak, they don't decide for me. And ako naman, natutunan ko din from them na listen to your parents, like have an open mind, listen to your parents, then at the end of the day, ikaw talaga connect the dots and mag-decide for yourself. The first time I made a major decision kasi was I was in grade school, so pipili lang high school. And enrolled na ako sa Ateneo Davao. Yeah, I was enrolled na. Then biglang tumawag NU, they wanted me to visit here sa Manila to check out their school, the dorm, the court and everything. What really convinced me kasi that time was may UAAP pala sa high school. I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah. That's not surprising naman.
Yeah, like, I didn't know na may UAAP na pala sa high school. Eh, ako gusto ko mag-work for UAAP college, diba? Sabi ko, why not you work in high school? And I'm very lucky na yung parents ko, they didn't, of course, they didn't want me to go kasi I was so young. Gusto pa nila ako makasama. Especially my dad. Like, my dad kasi, as the father of the family, sila yung last say, usually. May decision ako, di ako makakapunta if ayaw niya, if doesn't agree with me, syempre. And on that night na pagbalik ko ng Davao, usap kami, na yun nga, dad, parang gusto ko nang pumunta ng NU kasi may high school UAP. Then may kinuha siyang papel. Then yung papel na yon was a drawing by me, drawing ko. Parang goals in life. Ganon. So, this drawing ko was me wearing an Ateneo jersey in Araneta Coliseum, tapos may court, tapos pumapalo ako. Yun yung drawing ko. Sabi niya, nakita ko to, pangarap mo maglaro sa UAP. So, dahil may UAP sa high school, gusto ko matupad mo pangarap mo. So, sige, supportahan kita dyan. So, it's really important na your support system also understands your dreams and goals and ano yung pinanggagalingan mo para you, as the one who will make the decision, matutulungan ka nila, diba? It's really important na, of course, you also keep an open mind. Kasi nga, sa positive na mga narinig ko, of course, may negative din. Like, paano pag na-homesick ka, paano pag di mo gusto yung teammates mo, paano if yun nga, geto ganyan, yung stuff like that. Still, it really goes back to you eh. It really depends on you kung titira kang matibay despite of what they're saying. Kasi of course, my parents will also consider pros and cons always. Ayan. So, ano din, maybe that time then, they always check up on me, of course. Sabi nila kami ng message. Ako, ayaw ko sila yung message that time eh. Kasi, syempre di naman mawawala na mamimiss mo parents mo, especially ang bata-bata pa. Sanay ako na kasama sila. And, parang, I really decided na hindi ako pwede magpakita ng weakness sa kanila, na namimiss ko sila, na no homesick ako. Kasi, para sa pangarap, diba? Para sa pangarap, don't show weakness talaga. So, it's really important to have a support system, but it really goes back to you then. Like, you support yourself, diba? So, you carry yourself talaga. So, yun.
Yeah, that's a great story to tell. I mean, from you, and nangyari to lahat, bata ka pa, and parang tayo tumatak pa rin hanggang ngayon na college na talagang important parts of your life yun. And yun nga, nung UAAP din, nung bata ako, hindi ko rin naman alam na may high school. So, okay lang. Kasi dati kala ko college lang din yun. And yun, it was a great story na talagang they were supporting you all the way because they know yun yung parang utmost dream mo to play in the UAAP at such a young age, yun na talaga yung gusto mo mangyari. And alam ko, sinabi mo dun sa interview mo rin na pumunta ka dito sa Manila, mga 13 years old ka pa lang. And ako yata nung 13, parang kaka-graduate ko pa lang ng grade 6 or grade 7 nung time na yun. So, ang bata ako pa nun. So, I wouldn't know how I would have survived if I was like you na you live here in Manila alone, like your parents are in the province. Pero ikaw, how would you share your experiences to the people and how you survived it? Yun nga, you mentioned that you don't want to expose like your weakness to your parents kasi yun, baka iyak lang sila, they'd want to visit you na and all these things. Pero you remained strong and you were independent at such a young age. So how do you have that strong fortitude in you?
Ano man kasi, I've mentioned a while ago, I've played in palaro when I was in grade 5 and grade 6. So, naging training ground yun for me kasi naka-quarters din kayo eh, ng team mo. So, ang teammates mo lang kasama mo, then kayo maglalaba, maghuhugas, ayan, training 3 times a day. So, I think I'm really lucky talaga kasi napagdaanan ko yon na naging training ground ko yon na pagdating ko ng NU here in Manila, sanay na ako. Like, I know what to do na. Alam, kaya ko maglaba, kaya ko dumiskarte, kaya ko i-manage oras ko. Studies, sanay na ako na aral ng aral, basa na lang basa. Kasi nga, na-train na ako ng parents ko. So, yun nga, very grateful na na-expose ako sa ganong mga situation. Pagdaanan ko yon. First with my parents, diba? Pushing me to be diligent pagdating sa pag-aaral. Then, sa competitions, na-expose ako sa pagiging parang naka-quarters. Tapos, we do our own laundry and stuff like that. And, hindi nawala sa akin yun. So, yun, yung importante na yung things na pinagdadaanan mo, hindi mo alam na yun na pala yung mag-train sa'yo para sa next stage of your life. Parang ganun yung naisip ko right now. Kaya
Yeah.
ako naging independent because of what I've been through before. So, I remember then, the first time na pinayagan ako mag-jeep ng parents ko mag-isa, I think I was in grade 4 kasi nagka-training na ako nun eh. And summer training, so no school naman, pero we train sa campus. So, I think I was in grade 4. That was the first time pinayagan ako mag-jeep ng parents ko. Yung jeep naman kasi, from our house to Ateneo, Davao, was 2 jeep ang sasakyan. So, syempre, they were so scared, di ba? Kasi nga, I have to go down and find another jeep and punta ko yung masasakyan ko. So, I remember that's the first time na naging independent ako na yung magsakay ng jeep mag-isa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great na talagang na-train ka nila, na talagang may progress yun habang tumatanda ka, na mas nagiging independent ka, nasanay ka na rin eventually dun sa mga opportunities nga na you took at the high school level and eventually at the collegiate level. Pero sa NU nga, yung team nyo sobrang lakas dun, na ang dami yung nakuhang championships and ikaw nakakuha ka rin ng mga MVP awards. And you mentioned nga si Coach Babes na yung mentality that he instilled in you guys kanina about the always wanting to find a way to get better, like challenging yourself to come up with ways in order to be stronger as a team kahit champion na kayo every year. Pero for you, ano pa yung ibang aspects na bakit malakas yung NU high school program, whether on the court like yung system niya or yung off the court yung pakikisama niya, either way?
Okay. So, everything na nangyari kasi back then is really, I credit it to Coach Babes kasi he pushed us to like not settle and we had a good support system then. We had our manager, diba, who provides for us and tutulungan din kami in terms of, like, example, school. He would buy us our books. Sa training naman, he would buy us our needs, like yung mga bola namin, ganyan. Yung mga gear namin, he would provide us with that. And na-complement pa ng good system ng coach namin, which is Coach Babes. And yung team building kasi namin, maybe hindi lang kasi sa court yung team building namin. Like, we also spend time outside, like, every after training, we would eat together then, di ba, kwentuhan. Then, minsan, weekends, we would go somewhere, maybe sa house ng manager namin or house ng coach namin. We would just, like, watch movies, ganyan. We would talk about a lot of things. So, the stories na nakukwento, of course, the inspiring stories, kasi marami din pinagdaanan yung coach namin. So, we're a very young age, nagko-coach na siya. I think it was only college student pa lang siya, nagko-coach na siya. So,
bata pa yan.
Yeah, so he handled a lot of kids then. So he really knew how to handle us then. Knowing na psych din yung course niya. So, ayan. So, and he reads a lot of books. Yung mga sports books, like the mental stuff, books like that. Yan. He shares it to us. Ayan. So, everything na develop although throughout those years is because of him. And of course, the help of our manager then. Na develop niya kaming ladies, diba? Like, to be independent then, and to, like, we could we could like think for ourselves, like in situations na magulo, like what I've mentioned kanina, ganyan. It's really sa kanya, in my perspective, it's because of him. He really trained us to be like that.
Yeah. So despite nga your decorated career in high school and all these great characteristics that you were sharing about your team and Coach Babes, and you syempre entering college nga lumipat ka ng Ateneo, alam naman ng lahat. And I think it was also in the news na talagang all the universities tried recruiting you kasi nga ikaw yung top player nung top school in the high school division. So during the recruitment process, how was it for you na nahirapan ka ba kasi siyempre kakausapin mo lahat ng schools tapos papakinggan mo lahat ng mga pitch nila sa'yo, and paano how did you come up with the decision eventually of choosing Ateneo? Like, was it the choice talaga initially na, or nung una hindi pa talaga tapos biglang nung narinig mo na lahat biglang Ateneo talaga yung the best for me as an individual? How was it like for you?
So, kwento dyan naman is, of course, di mawawala sa option ko yung Ateneo. But, of course, I was in NU. Siyempre, consider ko din to stay in NU. But, back in my head, gusto kong, what if I go here, ano bang meron dito? Like, what if I go to Ateneo, ano bang meron doon? Like, I go to LaSalle. So those are actually the two schools that I only went to train with.
Okay.
Ateneo and LaSalle. So, tiningnan ko how are parang what's the, like, in a very parang face value lang, ano yung culture nila, paano yung pakisama nila, like the coaches, how are they, paano nila i-handle. And of course, hindi lang nung training yun, of course, I also watch their games.
Yeah.
Paano sila during, like, the coaches, how are they, if they parang under pressure na situations. The veterans, yung mga kasama kong seniors, kinonsider ko din. So, like you said, talagang tinignan ko lahat, like no rock unturned, di ba? Like, ganun. Ganun yung nangyari. So, alam naman ng lahat na Atenista ako. So, maybe may tumatawag talaga sa akin, sa Ateneo. Ganun eh. Ganun. Pero, I think it's kind of biased. Pero, alam ko na kasi, parang may sense of familiarity na.
Yeah.
Ganun yung feeling. And ako, I really consider, like, isa sa, like, pinaka-importanting factor for me is, sino yung mga kasama ko, what is the culture in that school, yung surroundings ko, what's the ambience. So, yun yung importante. The people who I'm going to work with. Like, yun, that's the number one din na, I mean, not number one, but isa sa pinaka-importanting factor. And of course, the program, the training program, diba? The volleyball program, tinitingnan ko din. And, parang really Ateneo talaga, it really sang to me. So, yun, like, it was really hard na 6 years I've been with NU, then, parang I don't wanna miss the chance kasi, like, I don't wanna, like, live in the what if. Kasi alam ko in my heart, gusto ko talaga sa Ateneo.
So, yeah, you mentioned ka na mahal mo talaga yung Ateneo, na talagang grade school ka pa lang nga sa Davao Ateneo ka na. And syempre, coming off that season, Ateneo was champions against UST in the finals. So syempre, like, the expectations were skyrocketing, and it was, and then you're one of the best players. So syempre, yung mga Ateneans and the UAAP fans, they expect a lot from you. So ano yung initial impressions mo naman with the team nung pumasok ka and when you were preparing for the PVL and the UAAP?
The first time kasi I trained with them, I feel welcome. Parang, syempre, may ibang teammates ako from NU nandun. Then the players, some of the players, I've played with them or against them then during my high school years. So, kilala ko na sila. And I feel wanted naman. Kasi syempre, I don't want to be in a team na I feel na ayaw sa akin, di ba? So, I feel wanted, parang naramdaman ko na gusto nila maging ka-teammate. And ako din, gusto ko din sila maging ka-teammate, of course.
Of course,
Siyempre,
yeah.
like, champion team, tapos, kilala ko pa yung iba, di ba? I've played with them na before. And new environment, I was really excited kasi bago eh. And exciting for me sometimes yung change. Kasi I could see it's for the good, it's for the better. So, I feel welcome naman. And yun, yeah. Yun.
Yeah, and in the PVL conference, I think you exploded for career high mo yata yung 35 points against CSB. And syempre, yung rookie, magugulat sila na bakit siya yung sobrang galing dun sa kabilang team. And you also had mga other performances na 20 points, close to 20, mga 19, 17. And yung consistency talaga, yun yung nagse-separate sa talagang magagaling sa ganong kataas na level na. Kasi lahat naman kayo talented na, so kaya naman mag-score ng mga ganong numbers. Pero ikaw, consistently, nagpo-produce ka at a level na talagang bata ka pa, rookie ka pa lang, tapos ang lalakas na nung kalaban mo. So, how did you have that mindset? Kasi si Coach O sinasabi rin, nabasa ko rin sa mga articles nung time na yun na pasunurin ka nga daw and you were fitting well into his system, kaya nagpo-flourish ka even as a rookie. So how would you share your experience there in the PVL? Sipin mo hindi ka pa nag-UAAP, parang taas na talaga nung performance level.
Of course, I'm with the new team and as a team player, gusto ko ibigay yung best ko always. Like, that's what the team deserves, diba? Like, I don't want a team that would settle for less than they're like the best of each player.
Yeah.
So, ganun na talaga yung mindset ko na I would do my best, diba? Like, in all aspects when it comes to the game. And I think then naman kasi since na-train na ako to be very good in adjusting then when back in high school. Kasi nung high school, share ko na din. Na-try ko mag-open hitter, na-try ko mag-middle, na-try ko din maging opposite. So, when it comes to adjusting to systems, nasanay ako. Like, the first time nag-middle hitter ako, that was the time na under 17. So, I was only 14 years old. So, international team then. Under 17 ako. There was a lot of swing hitters that time. And, like, limited yung middle. So, they needed someone to convert into a middle. Then, yun, ako yung napili. Ako yung nabunot. And it turned out quite good actually. Na,
yes.
Maganda siya kasi win-win eh. For me, I learned something new. And for the team, na yung at least na yung pwesto na fill in na nagawa ng paraan yung game namin at that time. So, and then, yung skills na yon nagamit ko na din, na-carry on ko na rin to our next leagues, diba? Together with NU naman. So, yeah. So, again, going back, na-train na kasi ako, like, before going into the next level, na-train na ako na to adjust, like, whatever position man or system man yan. Natuto ako to be very fluid lang, like makaka-adjust quickly. And I think isa din yung when it comes to, I don't know, critical thinking din. Maybe dahil din sa sobrang nung high school kasi, may term kami doon, I just can't remember, na parang yung utak namin pinipiga. Ayan, pinipiga talaga namin. Bakit? Like volleyball-wise naman. Like volleyball, ganyan. Pinipiga kami ng coaches namin dati. So, kaya din, I think, kaya din ako medyo nakapag-adjust quickly sa system coach. Adapt ako.
And being a rookie, sometimes mahirap din yun na feeling mo baka you'll step into the shoes of your veterans. Kasi syempre parang nahiya ka pa na, wow, you're getting all the sets kagad, you're getting all the attempts. And some teams mahirapan ng ganun. Pero ikaw nga, parang they accepted you kasi they knew that you were fulfilling your responsibility naman and your role sa team, and you were you were doing your best, as you mentioned that your high school stint helped you a lot. Pero from that tournament, did you learn new things about you or your teammates or your coaches then, or maybe also your opponents? Any of the four things that helped you with UAP kahit 2 games pa lang, or helped you then with the national team since you played na nga recently? No.
Okay. So, nung PBL, and like, what did
Yeah.
I learn? Syempre, it's the first tournament together with the Ateneo team. So, iba kasi pag training, iba din pag game. So,
For sure. Oh.
yeah, makilala ko, sarili ko, of course, there were times din na parang ah naninigas ako, like, biglang nawawala ako. So,
Mm-mm.
may times na ganon. Then, like, that's the first time for me na ganon yung nangyari. So, it's a good thing na coaches ko din, parang nakita nila yon, tapos natulungan nila ako to overcome that.
Mm-mm.
And teammates ko, parang nakilala ko how are they if under pressure.
Yeah.
And nakilala ko if they're having a good game or they're having a bad game. Coaches ko din, nakilala ko din kung paano sila if under pressure, if naghahabol kami or lamang kami, stuff like that, like the small things.
Mm-mm.
And skill, and another thing for me, natutunan ko din is, there was this one game kasi na di ako nakapaglaro sa PBL.
Oh.
So there is one game, absent ako kasi I got sick, like super lalang sakit. So, natutunan ko sa sarili ko na, like, I have to listen more to my body. Kasi sometimes, diba, the mind, kaya niya yan, pero yung katawan pala di na pala kaya. So, I learned that the hard way. Ayan. So, natutunan ko din yung sarili ko. Ayan. Like, that was also the first time that happened to me, yung ganung kalalang sakit. So, ang dami, like, not only volleyball wise, then like outside, then after a game, how are my teammates, how are my coaches, diba, ganyan, bad game or good game. Tapos, of course, the rituals, the traditions of the team, natutunan ko din. So,
Yeah.
sobrang dami.
So yun nga, madami ka naman talagang natutunan, na halata naman na talagang nag-evolve ka rin as a player since that PVL stint. And moving on to the UAAP, napanood ko yung both games. Unfortunately nga 2 games lang, yung sa UP and LaSalle. And yung LaSalle nga, ako pa yung nag-cover for the LaSalle noon. So I was in MOA like that weekend before na-suspend yung classes sa LaSalle. And yun, sobrang ganda nung laro na yun. And I think you played well then for actually both games. Pero yung UP, syempre, yun yung mas maganda kasi nanalo kayo. Pero for you, how was the feeling na finally stepping into the floor, na you were able to fulfill your dream and play at the collegiate level of the UAAP, and you were able to, feel the rivalry then of the LaSalle Ateneo in the level that high?
Okay, so I never really get tired of telling this story. Kasi, di ba, like, before a game, di ba, we line up sa end line. Tapos,
yeah, oo.
like, the protocol, what we call them, like, the protocol, yan. We stand on the end line, then commentators introduce the team. Then, kasi kapatid ko si Doroma, so, the libero of our team, batchmate ko, and kasama ko din siya sa NU, teammate ko siya back then. So, yun nga, like, it's very unforgettable na we come to near tears, as in parang, oh my God, dito na tayo, yung ganong feeling. Very, parang the feeling of being starstruck na, like, because of the like, the venue, kasi iba yung feeling pag naglalaro sa ganon na venue and a lot of people are watching. Tapos, it's live on TV. So, iba yung, like, things na hindi mo naman dapat iniisip. Pero, of course, they're there. So, hindi mo maiiwasan isipin yun. So, ako yun, parang near tears ako nag UP game. Parang
Oo.
this is it. Parang andito na, like all those years na pinaghirapan ko, andito na talaga. And Ateneo Lasal, ako kasi, I've always been an audience lang, di ba?
Mm.
So, I don't know ano yung pakiramdam if you're there. And
Oo.
naramdaman ko na, okay, this is how it is pala.
Oo.
Like, pressure talaga sa side ng team namin kasi ilang years na hindi pa natatalo yung Lasal. Like, laging panalo Lasal pag nilaban yung Ateneo Lasal. So, I could feel the pressure pagdating sa ates, even sa coaches, naramdaman ko. And first time ko kasi, so I'm not really sure how to handle it. And ang mindset lang, of course, going back to the mindset, do your best lang. Like, volleyball is very situational kasi. So, kung anong tingin kong tama at that situation, yun ang gawin ko. Yun yung mindset at that time. So, sayang lang kasi walang second time, walang third time. Sana ma-overcome namin yung Ateneo Lasal rivalry nga na sinasabi na been going on for years.
So sana nga magkaroon na ng bubble and magkaroon na ng season kahit wala pang fans kasi kahit sa TV for sure hundreds of thousands of people are gonna watch you guys. Kasi miss na namin talaga yung UAAP action, whether basketball, volleyball, baseball, or football man yan. Parang kahit anong sport na mag-umpisa na, papanoorin talaga lalo na ng mga Lasal and Ateneo fans yan. Pero yung isa pang aspect ng laro mo na I think for me is very special is since nga dahil mo lang na-achieve, you could have easily you could have easily been mayabang or you could have easily flaunted it kasi dahil mo ng championships and dahil mo ng MVP or it could have went to your head and it could have affected your play negatively since you're one of the top players na at such a young age and others might not know how to handle the fame or the popularity or the attention that they're getting. But then for you, parang whenever there's a game, wala namang nag-hate sa'yo. Like, social media can be toxic sometimes, but then, especially to the athletes. Pero for you, parang wala, they can't say anything bad about you. And you remain humble pa din. Like now, national team mainstay ka na rin. And yun, Ateneo and you, everything. So how do you have that attitude na talagang humble ka pa rin and you just stay focused with the goal and the objective that you have for you and your team?
Ako naman kasi I've been taught din ng parents ko na you have to stay humble. Yung mga awards na yan, blessing lang yun ni Lord. So, si Lord nagbigay yan sa'yo and si Lord lang din pwedeng kumuha yan sa'yo. And these awards are, for me, they symbolize something. They symbolize something. Pero, hindi ko dapat ipagyabang. Kasi, bigay nga ni Lord yan eh. And, what they always say, di ba? When we die, di ba? Hindi naman natin madadala to. Yung awards na yan, ganyan. What I want to focus on kasi, parang what will the people remember me for? Or by, ganon. Will they remember me as someone who was kind or someone proud? And of course, I would want to leave the world na kilala ako as someone na kind, humble, and of course, I want to inspire them. Yun yung, these rewards are there kasi they're a reward for your hard work. And I would want to use it like to inspire kids, inspire old people, diba, na we just, I don't know, like in what way ko man sila ma-inspire. End point, gusto ko ma-inspire sila like to do something good or like to do something about what they're passionate about. Kasi volleyball is what I'm very passionate about talaga. And makita man nila yung drive ko doing this sport na I really love. Maybe doon sila ma-inspired and to do something like to have a drive then for their passion. So I have my parents to remind me to stay humble, like to like tapatin, parang how you say it, like ganun din ako na, oy,
Yeah.
medyo,
Tapikin sa likod. Parang ganun.
yan, like,
Yeah.
oy, parang medyo mayabang na yung, ano ha, parang, they, ano, they push me back sometimes.
Mm.
Parang, medyo pupunta na ako sa ganon.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm grateful for, na,
Yeah.
I'm not secretive kasi, I'm very open naman, I really want na, or I don't want to pretend, I just want to be me, ganon.
Oo.
So, part of it din because of the upbringing of my parents din, kaya naging ganito ako. Which I'm grateful for, of course. Dahil they always remind me to stay humble. Despite all these rewards, like, wala lang yan.
Oo.
Ako naman, minsan, like the first thing that really popped into my mind is, normal lang naman na tao eh. Like, we're all, I don't know, we're all the same. We're just people.
Yeah, biologically, we're all the same. Yeah.
We're all the same. So, I don't really deserve any fame or what, ganyan.
Mm.
So, yeah. That's really it.
Oo, yan yung magandang mindset na, yung youth, yung mga nasa grade school, grassroots program, yung mga nasa high school, magandang ma-emulate. Kasi, syempre ngayon, nasa collegiate ka na, and then eventually pro, like, papanoorin ka na sa TV and they'll be like, oh, I wanna be like Faith. So, syempre yung attitude mo na yan, yun yung magandang ma-emulate ng mga bata din. Na, even yung mga idols mo in volleyball or in other sports, it's great that they see your mindset na gano'n, na kahit madami nang nakukuhang awards. Like similar to Eliza or sa basketball, si Junmar Fajardo. Like talagang sobrang humble din nila and wala ka namang madirinig masyado na haters about them because what will you hate them about despite all the success they've achieved in their careers in their respective sports. So that's great. Pero yun nga, we talked about kanina yung national team stint a bit, like yung tryouts and the trials that you faced with that whole pandemic and all the difficulties of the tryouts. Pero you played nga in the tournament called the Asian Women's Club Volleyball Championship, and the competition there was really high. And nga, like unfortunately, both our squads did not perform well, but then it's still a great training ground since nga you guys haven't played in like what 2 years, like SEA Games pa yata yung huling tournament na sinalihan ng national team yata. So, kamusta naman yung assessment mo sa competition doon and yung chemistry din ng team? Kasi medyo nga kulang din kayo sa training because of the restrictions here.
Well, as you've mentioned, parang experience, training ground, especially for us, the college, like the babies nga I've mentioned kanina. It's really a good experience then for us kasi we're aware na kulang talaga yung time namin to train. Parang di kasi kami nakokompleto. Like, dahan-dahan. Like, we're 9, then we're 15, then naging 23, then naging 24 lang kami nung nasa Thailand. So, ethically kasi she didn't get to train with us. Parang
nga daw, yeah.
Her sa Thailand na. So, like, super kulang talaga. And, kasi, parang we're starting again back at 1 with the new federation, PNBF. So, they're trying to create a new team nga, a younger team as they, gusto nila a younger team. And of course, with the veterans din, diba? Kasi kailangan namin ng people who has experience then. And, I'm still grateful naman kasi despite the pandemic, we played in a very high level competition.
Yeah.
So, parang nagkaroon kami ng jump start. Especially me, kaming mga college students, we got a jump start. Kasi we got to train then with Coach Jorge. our
Yeah.
Brazilian coach. So we really
Mhm.
learned a lot, like Brazilian system,
Mhm.
international volleyball system, natutunan namin with him. Some things to maybe we could adapt to or share with our mother teams then.
Mm.
So it was really a learning experience for us, kami mga uh, babies, di ba? Like the college students. So our performance was actually, ako nagulat din ako sa performance ko na I didn't expect na ganung, like paabot siya sa ganung level. Like,
Oo.
it exceeded my own expectation.
Oo.
So, what our coach always reminded us pa naman, like, we don't give high expectations din masyado sa sarili nyo kasi baka
Mm.
ma-disappoint kayo ito yan. But, I'm glad na ganun nga, na I didn't expect na I could perform in that way. So, yun. Really.
Mm. You mentioned nga na si Coach Jorge, kakaiba yung system niya kasi sa Brazil nga, and sa Brazil is one of the best countries in the world in terms of volleyball. So syempre iba talaga yung laro dun and yung mga lessons na ini-impart niya sa inyo. So ano yung mga aspects nga na since short period pa lang naman, hindi pa masyadong marami. Ano yung talagang tumatatak sa na you could utilize in the future of your career as a volleyball player that you learned from him. And here nga in this team also na you were also one of the go-to players. You were, I think, hindi ko alam kung leading scorer ka din sa Revisco the whole tournament. So how was that for you and being in his system and flourishing under him na, you were racking up all these points as well at the international stage naman.
uh, what I learned from him kasi, like, we have the skills na eh. Like, we know the basic and everything. Parang yung kanya, enhancement na lang of the skill.
Mm-hmm.
And other than the skill kasi, yung, how do you say it, like when it comes to the game,
Mm-hmm.
yung maturity mo sa parang volleyball IQ, yun, I think that's the right term, volleyball IQ mo.
Mm-hmm.
What I learned from him is, uh, nag-iba yung tingin ko when it comes to attacking, spiking, diba? Diba?
Mm-hmm.
If you're an attacker, you want to make points. That's one of
Mm-hmm.
your goals, diba? Like to kill the ball sa other side.
Yeah.
Pero with him kasi, hindi daw all the time ganun. Like, oh, how? Like, diba, syempre, why? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Kasi
Mm-hmm.
when you face a situation na parang mahirap magka-point, you just have to
Mm-hmm.
like put it back. Like, balik mo lang sa kabila. Like,
Oo.
parang make like a smart or challenging tip or
Yeah.
roll. Like, ganun gawin mo. Then,
Oo.
syempre, the other team will also work. So, yung team mo, kayo naman
Mm-hmm.
yung magtutulungan, like to create a point, diba? May block,
Mm-hmm.
then may defense, then may set, then may palo. Then, kung hindi kaya mag-point, ganun ulit. Like, balik
Mm-hmm.
mo lang. So, yun yung bago kong natutunan sa kanya, yung parang sa volleyball IQ, na
Oo.
it's not always point pag attacker ka. Something's
Mm-hmm.
ganon. So, nga, which is right naman.
Mm-hmm.
And, um, madami-dami pa, pero yun yung tumatak sa akin, like, as a attacker. Like, that's
Yeah.
how he changed my outlook when it comes to attacking.
Yeah.
Yun.
That's great that he could share a different perspective na talagang bata ka pa, so syempre, mas open pa yung mga mas bata na mas matuto sa mga coaches, lalo na foreign coaches, and they're able to, yun nga, yung level ng competition and yung top caliber level of play yun sa Brazil. So talagang mapapakinig ka,
Mm-mm.
kahit bago pa siya or hindi pa kayo close, talagang you'll just absorb everything like a sponge and apply it to your game because for sure it will benefit you naman positively. And yun nga, you played really well in Thailand, and there were tweets nga that I saw na napapa-reply ka na lang na thank you na the volleyball superstars were saying na ang lakas ng palo mo, maganda yung laro mo. So, kahit talo ka, nakikita mo na may improvement talaga sa game nyo as an individual and as a team. And maganda marinig yun na napapansin ng mga volleyball stars yun na naiwan dito sa Pilipinas. And yung isa pang part na, yun nga, interviewed Kale Mao also last week na teammate mo rin dun sa national team. And I asked her also na, I think si Sir Tat Suzara, he mentioned that he plans to put you guys in a lot of tournaments and international games in the next few years kasi nagkukulang yata tayo doon. Like we only play in the SEA Games and all the major tournaments. Pero para mahasa ka and para masanay ka sa international competition, sa tingin mo ba tama yun na yun maglalaro kayo ng mga 50 to 100 international games? Syempre, hindi naman mag-interfere with UAAP. Pero, you know, yung mga tune-up games or yung mga small tournaments lang pero mataas na yung caliber ng competition. Ano yung thoughts mo nun na maraming games?
Volleyball is life. Yun talaga eh. Pero, yan yung advantage ng other international teams. During the pandemic, ilan ang nalaro ng Philippines? 1. Thailand, how many? May BNL, may ano pa ba? Like, super dami. Yun yung na-share sa amin ng coach din namin na that is one of the disadvantage of the Philippines kasi we don't get exposure. Kaya puro exposure na lang yung nasasabi kasi kulang talaga. Like how could we compete? Like how could we like head on with them kung kami kulang sa exposure? So iba kasi talaga yung you get to go to other places, get to play with other teams kasi super iba-iba talaga yung teams eh.
Yeah.
So getting to play with them, experiencing, seeing, learning from them. Yun yung magiging benefit of playing internationally. Like, super daming games. Okay, go. Kasi that's what we need. Naghahabol kasi tayo. Diba? Naghahabol tayo. So, dapat lang nadamihan yung games. So, yeah, that's the logic behind it naman eh.
That's great. And made-develop din yung chemistry nyo rin kasi nagkulang nga tayo sa training and sa bonding nung itong pandemic. Like, late na kayo nakisama sa isa't isa. Like, Kale nga didn't even get to play here in the Philippines with you guys. So, hopefully, the future is bright for women's volleyball here in the Philippines and marami pa kayong mapanalunan na tournaments. And yun, as we wind down to the final portion of the interview, ito yung mga questions na tinatanong ko din sa mga other guests ko. So yung isa, yun nga you mentioned na you want to have a great legacy in as an athlete, as a volleyball player. And syempre hindi lang yun on the court, off the court din yun. And hindi ko alam kung napapanood mo yung NBA nung bubble nung 2020. Yung mga players, very vocal sila with the Black Lives Matter and the elections sa America. And dito feeling ko kulang pa tayo. Like now, dumadami na with the elections coming up. Pero yung sa social issues and political issues, feeling ko kasi yung athletes, yung voice nyo malakas dahil yung followers nyo madami and yung mga, you know, pag may shinare ka na quote or lesson na even if it's very small, baka may matutunan sila sa inyo. Like, kunwari, about a candidate na ganito yung gusto niya mangyari pag nanalo siya or yung social issues lang na para matuto sila kasi yung iba like they just tweet anything on social media basically but they're not really as informed as others. Pero for you, is it okay or is it very important rin for you na yung athletes ay vocal with social and political issues here in the Philippines?
Yes, I like kailangan talaga kasi ako first time voter din ako this coming election.
Same. Yeah.
So I really try to ask questions. Like we watch the news, then I ask my parents, what's this, what's that. I ask my sister, my older sister, and I try to read. Kasi I had this conversation with older people na it's your future na kasi like the next people na who are gonna handle in the government. Tayo yung magiging tayo yung affected doon. So like we like strive to be informed, to be socially aware of what's happening.
Mm.
Kasi by that time then, we have to like speak up. Kasi
Mm.
there's no such thing as neutral na this time eh. Kasi
Oo.
if you stay neutral, parang you're saying na there's this quote, diba? Like, if you stay neutral, parang you tolerate na rin kung what's,
Anything. Yeah.
yeah, it's like something like that.
Oo.
So, ako naman, like, dahan-dahan din. Kasi ako, I'm not really, the scroll sa social media. So, I depend on the news. What I
Oo.
see on the TV sometimes, then maybe Twitter, may nakikita
Mm.
ako, diba? So, I try to stay informed din. Kasi, syempre, knowing na malapit yung elections and people are looking up
Oo.
to me, looking up to us, they will want to hear our side then, diba? Like, what
Oo.
we think, diba?
Oo.
And by that time, gusto ko naman may masabi din ako. Kasi,
Oo.
ayoko maging neutral din kasi I'm aware of what's happening, like, stuff
Mm.
like that. Like, like what's happening right now. So, yun, yes, like, kailangan talaga informed din yung athletes. Like, hindi lang puro, bola yung alam namin.
Yeah, yun yung magandang matutunan din ng mga tao na yung mga athletes then they can have they can amplify their voices and help people educate them about the social and political issues and dapat din syempre informed nga sila na sinasabi mo hindi lang yung nag-share ng kung ano-ano kasi malay mo mali pala yung pinag-share nila sikat sila ay ang dami nilang followers so paano kung yun mas makinig pa sila dun sa shinare mo mali naman pala. So at least for you, at least you're also putting on the effort. Like, I think, like halos magka-age lang rin naman tayo na talagang natututo rin tayo about these things. Kasi syempre, tumatanda na rin tayo, nagiging adult na rin. So we need to learn about these things because it's gonna be like what's gonna happen in our future. So that's great also for us. So yung next question naman is just a simple question na if you have the opportunity to have dinner with 5 people, dead or alive, who would you choose? It
Oh,
doesn't
that's
need to be
hard.
athletes or sports
Okay.
people lang, like anyone.
Maybe, well, the first person that popped into my mind, Albert Einstein.
Mm.
Mozart. Ano, sino ba? Sino ba? Elon, what's his name? Elon.
Musk?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Steve Jobs, tama ba?
Oh,
Ayan.
Steve Jobs,
I'm
yeah.
not really good with names. I'm so sorry.
Okay lang, okay lang.
Mention 4 na. One more ba?
Oh.
Ooh, sino kaya? I think maybe, I don't know. I wanna know Ferdinand Marcos kasi like I wanna like maybe try to understand paano siya, like how he you know up, yung upbringing niya, like
Hmm.
ba't niya nagawa yung mga ganyan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yun, maybe,
Mindset niya, parang
yeah,
ganun. Kasi he started
kasi
off well, like his first years, solid daw yung Philip daw. I mean, you weren't there, malamang. Solid daw yung
yeah,
Philippines yung first
yeah,
term niya.
that's what
So
I've been
maybe that.
hearing, diba? Like maganda naman daw pero why it ended up like that, like
Mm-mm.
bakit, like
Yeah,
bakit, like
yeah,
pitch to me why.
yeah,
Ganun.
yeah.
Ganun.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great way. Like I heard some of my guests also say Donald Trump or I forgot sino pa ba. So para it's not like you're for them. It's just that you want to have dinner and find out what they're thinking. Si
Yeah.
Hitler pa yata may mga nagsabi
Oh,
Hitler
yeah.
natatawa.
Oo nga, no? Yeah.
Yeah. Yung mga great answers na minsan hindi ko makakalimutan yung mga ganun. So yung final question naman is, yun nga since you know naman na I just message people dahil wala naman ako masyadong connections with athletes tas ini-invite ko lang sila here on the DVD show. Kahit anong sport naman ini-invite ko pero since familiar ako sa basketball and volleyball, yun yung talagang pinanonood ko. Marami akong guest na puro volleyball and basketball players. Pero yung ibang sports na susubukan ko na rin pag naisip ko silang imbitahin. Pero sa'yo, sino yung mga suggested athletes mo na pwede kong imbitahin na may maganda ring kwento or maganda makipagkwentuhan dito sa podcast?
Okay, the first person na went like naisip ko is si Max Esteban. So she's from Ateneo,
Oh, yeah.
fencing.
Mm.
Fencing. Yeah, like kanina kasi nakita ko lang yung post niya like about she's in New York, then
Yeah,
sa
she's
Philippine
training
Embassy
yata.
siya. Yeah, ganyan. Sa
Mm.
Philippine Embassy siya, ganyan. So, parang, yun, I think that would be a very good, you will have a very good conversation with her then. Kasi,
Mm.
marami siyang international experience na. And, he's a champion na. Like,
Yeah.
like, when it comes to fencing, grabe.
Mm.
Yun. Sino ba? I think some of the men's volleyball, like, from the Philippine team. Kasi, di ba, there's this thing going on na pag volleyball, mas sikat talaga pag babae.
Yeah,
Then,
may
so,
stereotype. Oh.
yeah, so I think a good, that's a good thing to, like, talk to people, like, yung yeah, some
Mm.
men's volleyball. But yeah, that on the top of my mind, yun yung naisip ko.
Okay. So yun, that's all the questions naman I have for you, Faith, for today. Thank you for joining me here on my podcast. I enjoyed a lot na appreciate ko rin na nag-share ka ng mga stories about your childhood and your teenage years na, may inspire sana yung mga tao with your story na yung napagdaanan mo is what propelled you then to reach success at such a young age. And that's really a great way for people to learn from athletes, as young as you na kahit when you have a goal, if you have a way to achieve it, it could really happen. Pero for you, do you have any final message before you go?
I think, yun nga, especially right now, na we're still in a pandemic, maybe nga, kapit lang, stay strong everyone, di ba? And, like, make do with what we have, and accept the things that we can't control, and, like, do something about the things we can control. Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yun,
that's
okay.
it.
So, yeah. So, before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Sure, no problem.
Sige, I'll take it from here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much, Faith, for joining me here on my podcast, and stay safe.